I was really surprised, very pleasantly surprised at how Bloodflowers has turned out. Because I didn't think it would be this good, you know. I kind of thought, I didn't think this lineup was capable of making this record. Because every lineup of The Cure always says, we're the best lineup, you know, and they were saying that to me, and I was saying the only way you can be the best lineup is to make the best album, because nothing else matters, really. So it's quite a shock, actually more pleasantly surprised, when we'd finished and I'd finished mixing it, and then I took a week off and we came back and we all listened to it, and I thought, you know, it's a really great album. It's like it's better than I imagined it would be. So it's also, I suppose, it's quite unusual for a band to be making their best work kind of 20 years after they started. I mean, it's unheard of. Usually bands don't do this. So I think that's what surprised me as well. I thought maybe it's inevitable that Disintegration will have been the finest thing that I've done and everything, you know, and it's just a kind of decline from there. But you know, I'm delighted that it isn't. And I was very difficult to work with on this album, as I was with Disintegration, for that reason, because I insisted that everything was done exactly as I wanted. So it's kind of unpleasant for the others, really, because they don't feel that they're of any value, I suppose, when we're making the record. Although I try and impress upon them the fact that without the group, it wouldn't sound like The Cure. I mean, that's, to me, that's really important. I mean, who's in the group defines the sound. But with Wish and with Wild Mood Swings, they were group collaborations, and everyone had a say, you know. And I would kind of be just a fifth member of the band, really, a lot of the time. And yeah, I think, but I wouldn't blame the others, because I blame myself for allowing that to happen, really. Like with Wild Mood Swings, it's unfocused and incoherent because everyone had a say, and it's 5 people's version of what the album should be. If we went back and remade it, I would throw out 4 songs and make it a different album. But with Bloodflowers, I suppose as soon as we met up to make the album, I said to the others, you know, I hate to tell you this, but you haven't got any say for the next 3 months. But it's all right. I mean, they trust me. You know, they find it difficult to do, but when they trusted it, you know, they trusted that we were going to end up with something good. The reason for making Bloodflowers as it is far more personal, though. I mean, it's because I wanted it to sound like The Cure. If I wanted to make another album like the Kiss Me album or Wild Mood Swings, I would have done. I don't kind of worry what the fans think or what people think, because it's a road to madness doing that. I mean, but I was aware when we were actually making Bloodflowers that it was a fan kind of, that people would be pleased that we were making this kind of record. But I mean, The Cure have had far more commercial success than I ever imagined and ever wanted in some ways. I mean, it's been quite difficult at times, particularly in America. You know, the kind of level of success has been something that, just as an individual, I've found it kind of awkward sometimes to be as famous as I've been through the years, because that's not really what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be in a band so that I could be famous. So even though I've really enjoyed the success The Cure has had, I think it's been fantastic. It doesn't worry me that much that we don't have commercial success as much, because that was never the driving force behind it anyway. I would much rather feel that we'd achieved something of worth and something that would last and something that people will listen to in 10 years than be number 1 this month, you know. And it's easy for me to say that because we've had success, you know. I suppose it's, you know. But I don't worry that it's like with Wild Mood Swings. I mean, every album we'd ever made up until Wish had always done better and better. It sold more and more and more, you know. And Wild Mood Swings was perceived by the industry as a failure, even though it sold close to 2 million copies around the world. You know, for any other band, 2 million albums, it's like you think, we've made it, you know. You know. But because we'd kind of been on an upward curve and suddenly you start going down, people think, uh-oh, it's all going wrong, you know. And Bloodflowers may well continue the downward curve, and probably will. It probably won't be as commercially successful as Wild Mood Swings even. That's not the point, though. It's like the point is that I never expected to get that high. The reason why I'm doing this kind of promotional stuff is because there is no single and video, because I've decided that there isn't going to be a single and video. The record company's a bit unhappy, but I don't feel right. I just, you know, it's like with there is never a plan with The Cure. When you look back, it looks like there's been really, you know, a master plan, that I've been kind of calculating it all and that I am in control. A lot of the time that's a false illusion. It's decisions are made about the group by me entirely on instinct. It's just whether it feels right or not. I don't know. Sometimes I suspect what the repercussions will be, as in like deciding that there should be no single and there's no video. I can kind of see what the repercussions are, but they're not. It's unimportant. You know, if I did something and I didn't feel right about it, it wouldn't be right. It would, you know, if we made a video and I didn't feel comfortable, I would look uncomfortable, and the whole thing would be uncomfortable. So there's no point. In the past, I've enjoyed making the videos because I've seen that there's a point to them. You know, they serve a purpose. But with Bloodflowers, it's almost, I suppose, like in the old days when I used to listen, you know, before videos, and you listen to albums and in the dark, and that's what I wanted Bloodflowers to be. So I don't really want to impose pictures onto the record because it's like an old-fashioned kind of record in that way. I don't know. I mean, it was kind of dramatic for me to say that. And when we were making it, everyone in the group believed that it was the last Cure album because I wanted to have that sense of finality. You know, there's no point in making a record like Bloodflowers if you really think you're going to do something else. I wanted it so that Bloodflowers would be so perfectly The Cure that there was no point in making another Cure album because what could you do? And at this moment, I feel that we find it impossible to think of making another Cure album because I have no need to, because it's kind of, that's it for me. But I would really want to try something on my own to see what it's like. If I don't like working on my own, I'll go back to The Cure again. So until we don't make another album, Bloodflowers is the last album. Part of me really wants it to be the last album, actually, if I was being honest. I would think it would be very courageous to stop the group on such a high note rather than just keep continuing on. But part of me is like my more human side thinks it's so good to be able to make something so good that why would I not want to try and do it again? So I don't know, we'll see. I'll see next year. At the moment, I'm not really too worried about whether it's the last. I wanted it to be the best rather than the last. That was more important to me.